everyone, my name is Molly, and today I am here to talk to you about underhyped books. I think a lot of booktubers have done this video where they just have books that they just feel deserve to be talked about more, which is why I'm here. I want to talk to you guys about these books, and you've probably heard of most of them, and I mean they're fairly popular, but I feel like they just don't get talked about enough for how good they were. And if you haven't read them, you should totally read them because they're just really good. So, without further ado, let's dive in. The first underappreciated book on this list is The Murder Complex by Lindsay Cummings. I know most of you know that Lindsay Cummings and fellow booktuber Sasha Alsberg wrote Zenith together, and that's coming out next year. But before that, Lindsay wrote this duology, The Murder Complex and The Death Code. I read this book because I saw it somewhere on BookTube, and it was just so good. Like, I love this series. I flew through it, and The Death Code was big, and I flew through that, and it was so good, and such a fast-paced read. I feel like it's what most readers look for in a book. Like, it's so good. There's romance, and there's action, and it's a cool world with main character who kind of deals with a dark side, and it's so good. You guys should read it. In this world, there are sleeper agents, and at night, they come out and they assassinate people, and so to be safe from it, you either have to run or you have to be hidden very well. And so this follows, I don't remember if it's two point of views, but it follows two different people. The world is awesome, the action is great, and the characters are wonderful, so just go read it because it deserves so much more hype than it gets. The next book on this list is Alice in Zombieland by Gina Showalter. This is one of my favorite books of all time, and I feel like it's never been talked about on BookTube. Like, I tried to look for book talks and reviews and just anything about this book, and I didn't really see anything, and that makes me sad, because like I said, this is one of my favorite books of all time. It's so good, and the rest of the series was kind of on a downhill slide, but the first book was so freaking good. This is like exactly what I look for in a zombie book. So basically, this book follows a girl named Alice, and her family dies in a car crash in the summer, and so she ends up moving in with her grandparents and starting a new school, and she meets this group of kids who are known to be bad in that school. They're like, you know, tattooed and beat up. She eventually finds out that they are zombie hunters, and she can see zombies too, and not everyone can. So she teams up with these zombie hunters, and she becomes a zombie hunter, and it's so good, and I love it so much. You guys have to read it. The romance in this book is wonderful. The world is cool. I want to be a zombie hunter. The next book I have on this list is also one of my all-time favorites that I feel like isn't talked about enough. None of her books are, and that is White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout. If you even hear about JLA, it's about her Obsidian series, but I liked this series so much more than Obsidian. I think the covers are a big part of why people are like, because it looks like a romance novel, and honestly, I thought this was a romance novel too until I watched a video where somebody was like, don't be fooled by the cover, it's actually a cool kick-ass book, and I hope this is the video for you guys, for those of you who haven't read it, because this book is about demons and gargoyles, and yes, there's romance, but like, it's awesome, and there's so much badass stuff going on. Guys, do me a favor and pick it up, because like I said, it deals with demons, gargoyles, just everything under the sun, and it's so great. It's just so good. The main guy is... The next book that I have on this list is Angel Fall by Susan E. I know Christine from Pulling Bananas Books has talked about this book, and that is originally why I picked it up. I heard her talking about it, and I was like, I need it. This book is about a world where the angel apocalypse happens, so angels descend from heaven, and they're not very heavenly. They try to take over the world, they kind of start a little apocalypse down here, and this follows a girl who has to team up with an angel to get her sister back. It's so cool. It's kind of on the darker side, but that makes it even cooler. It's so awesome, and it's such a kick-ass book. I feel like I never hear about it, and yeah, it's not carried in, like, Barnes & Noble and stuff, so you'd have to order it online, but, like, it's worth it. This is a trilogy, and every book is as great as the first book. The next book I have on this list is actually contemporary, and not just this book specifically, but the author in all, and that is P.S. I Like You by Casey West. The two Casey West books that I've read have been like the perfect contemporaries. They're just so fluffy and happy and good, and I just love them so much. And I feel like not a lot of people talk about Casey West, and if they do, it's very quick. It's just a quick mention, and I'm just like over here, like, can I have all the Casey West book, please? I've only read P.S. I Like You and By Your Side, but I want to get all the others so I can read them too. P.S. I Like You was like such cute perfection, and I loved it. I recommend reading P.S. I Like You the most out of the ones I've read. Casey West just writes great contemporaries, and she writes great characters and great stories, and so you guys should totally check her books out if you're looking for a fluffy, happy contemporary. The next book I feel is really underappreciated and really underhyped, and I talk about it a lot, and that is Reign of Shadows by Sophie Jordan. This book is really, really good. It's about a girl who is blind, and it's kind of a Rapunzel retelling, but also kind of not. So she's blind, and she lives in a world where darkness has descended. So there's no sun. There hasn't been a sun for 10 years. And so this has caused all sorts of mutations in the wildlife and in the world itself. We follow a girl and a guy, and the guy is on the run, and the girl is a mysterious character, and they end up teaming up and fighting this world, and it's awesome. It's a duology. The second book was also amazing, and it's really short. I mean, it's a short fantasy book, but it's fast and it's good. Why don't more people talk about this book? The last book I have on my underappreciated list is Tell Me Three Things by Julie Boxbaum. This book, guys, another cute contemporary. I loved it so much. So good. The thing about this book that really helped me love it so much is that it's relatable. Like, I saw myself a lot in the main character and the situations in the story. The struggles felt real, and you know how sometimes contemporaries can get kind of repetitive or kind of like an annoying main character? This book is not like that. I always find myself going back to this contemporary to reread it when I need a happy lift up. Those are some of the books that I feel are really underappreciated. Let me know what you guys think, if you've read any of these books, or if I've inspired you to read any of these books. That's amazing, and I hope you go read them. Please read them. They're so good. And if you have any underappreciated books that you want me to read, leave them down below, and maybe I'll pick up a few. That's it for this video, guys. I try to upload a video every week. If you like my videos, then subscribe, and I'll see you next time.